So basically, what the VLOOKUP does, it gives you a value that is in the same row as the value that you are using as your reference on the lookup value. So if you want to find the representative of this customer, you can use the VLOOKUP. Tell me what's in the column one. So like, because in this case for VLOOKUP, now I want to show something for the VLOOKUP. We want to have the representative based on the customer. The customer is not in the first column of the data. The first column is the invoice number. We can still use VLOOKUP by selecting from column B to column G. So in this case, if you select just this group of cells, customer will be the first column. But you find in index and match, you don't have to select this based on this. So in this case, we have the customer, we want the representative. VLOOKUP, you cannot get the invoice number when you're using the representative, with using the customer as the lookup value. Let me do it as I explained. If you wanted the representative value for the customer 52 store, will come in. Let me just use the formulas tab. Come to the formulas bar, and I look up and reference. Then look for VLOOKUP. The thing should be the last one. So our lookup value in this case will be the value in A2. That is the customer 52 store -002. The table array is why am I going to look for this value? So this is just telling Excel like I want to go look for A2, and Excel asks why will I look for it? Look for it in the table array. I'm selecting customer up to rep. I want you to note that I've not selected the first column, because once I select the first column, the VLOOKUP function will not work. So the lookup value has to be in the first column of your selection. So in this case, we are looking up the value of the customer, the name of the customer. So that should be our first column. So that's why I've selected B to G. You can select past G if you want, but that will be just too much data for no reason. So I'm just selecting B to column G. And then the column index that I needed to give me, let me go back, sorry about that. Let me just go back here. So we selected the column B to G, and the customer is in the first column, invoice date is the second column, payment terms third, due date fourth, PD checks fifth, and the representative is the column in the sixth column. So we write the column number here that we want it to give us what's in column 6. We want the customer representative, so that is what is in column 6. The range lookup is either true or false. True gives you the approximate value or the closest value to whatever you find in the column, and then false gives the exact match. So we want the exact match, so we type in false and we hit OK. So in this case, I want you to see that we have used the customer to look for the representative. I want to try something with the VLOOKUP. I want to look for the representative based on the customer. I want to look for the customer based on the representative. Sorry, the other way around. I want to look for this customer, but I want to use this VLOOKUP value as the representative values as the VLOOKUP value. So the same thing again, come to lookup and reference. Let me first change this to, let us say, let me say, who here do we have just one customer? And let me look for someone who has only one customer, or I can change someone to just have one. So most of you find that the representative values are duplicate values, so it will be hard to get that. Let me find some value. Let me just do this. Let me just change. It will be easier if I do the same thing, But let me just change the position of the customer column to be to the right. Insert cut cells. I want to put it to the right of the representative column. So I want to do the same thing. We still want to find the representative, but the customer is to the right of this value. Remember the VLOOKUP value. You are for the VLOOKUP function. The VLOOKUP value has always been has to be to the leftmost side of the formula of the table array. So let me delete this layer and do it again. So I want you to see how the error is coming. So lookup and reference. VLOOKUP. Lookup value. I want to look for 52 store. Where is 52 store? It's here with the representative. The column that 52 store is in is the column 1. Is in column yes 1, but the representative is to the left side. You get the point? So this should be column 1. Representative is to the left side. We can't count 1 and go 2 because the representative is not to the right. So the way the column index works, you count towards the right. So this won't work. We cannot get any value with this. But that is where index and match comes in. You don't have to rearrange your data. So in this case, VLOOKUP will set you to arrange your data in such a way that your column that you are using, the most unique column, has to be to the left side of the equation. So let's try first learn index. So index is more of the same as what we used in high school and primary school during the KCSE and the KCP, the national exams. It gives you just the position that you are in based on a group of data. So if I have this group of data, the index of 52 store is row 2. That is the index, column 1, row 2. The index of the KBX 194K here is in column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and row 10. That is the index. But that's how we get index. So let's try and see what it does with the formula. So it tells you what's in a specific position. So if I ask you who is index 1, who was this, you can give me a name. So the same thing is what Excel does. It give me the person who is in index number 5. Then it will bring you back a name. The person in index number 5 is ABC. So in this case, let's try and see who is in index number 2 for the customer column. So come to lookup and reference again, and lookup and reference, come and click index. Then 2 arguments will come. There's the first one and the second one. I understand the first one. I've never really researched on the second one, and the first one is one that is commonly used. So we select the first one. Then the function arguments window comes in. So the array is the range of cells that you want to search. So in our case, we want to search the customer. So we just select customer column AA. That is the array. And the row number. Which row number do you want it to give you back? Want to give me back what's it row number 2? Remember I told you last time that if it's not in bold, that means it is not how do you call it? It's not a bus that you have to put it here. This is not required. This is optional. The array is required, the row number is required, but the column number is optional. So in this case, we can leave it open, we can add anything. So, but in this case, for the column number, we already know it's just one column. We've selected just one column, AA. If we had more than one column, we could have added the column number. But in this case, I'm just going to leave it blank. Then I click OK. So this is what index does. It tells you what's in a specific position. So in this case, if I wanted to know what's in position 2, it will tell me 52 store is what is in position 2. You can change the values. If you do what's in position 5, it will tell you what's in position 1 to row number 5. That's Baraka Shop. That's simply what index does. Is there any question up to that point?
Fulgence.
Yes.
Could you find the rep instead of the customer with the index?
Yeah, I can do that too.
Yeah, please. Because
So say we wanted to get the rep. Let me do it below this. Is that okay? Let me just do it below this. So which rep do you want to find?
any rep, kama rep wa Alibaba.
So I'll get to that part. I'm sorry, I asked the question wrongly. I'll get to the part where you find the rep of Alibaba based on using index and match. Let's say we find the rep that is in row number 26. So you want to tell us the rep that is in row number 26. That is like index and match just tells you who is in a position. Not based on someone's name, not based on someone's number, just in a position. So index, the first argument. So the array. So in this case, initially we selected the first column in our sheet, but you need us to use the rep, so which is not in any of the columns in this sheet. So we just go back to the open invoice sheet, and the rep column is column F. You just select the column. You don't have to select the whole sheet. Just select the column that you need. That's all. And the row number, we've said we want to use it row number 26. The column number is optional because we've only selected one column. And you click OK. So it tells us the person who is in row number 26 is Fulgence. Let us see, row number 26. Indeed, it is Fulgence. It is that simple. You can do it with the invoice, you can do it with the date, you can do it with anything. If you want to know what's in row number 31, what's in row number 32, we need the invoice, the date, the payment terms, the due date, the delivery details, whatever it is, just tell it I want what is in row number 6, column number 1, or row number 6 only. If you've selected just one column. So,
Yes.
can I go to batch now? The batch function.
When would you be using index?
So basically, you might not really use index and match independently. Where you have the body is where you use them together. That is where you find where they make sense. So I'm just doing them independently first for you to understand how they're going to be nested together.
Okay.
Yeah. So using them independently is not really that significant. It's not really that helpful, but nesting them is very, very helpful. So we go back to lookup and reference, another formulas tab. We find match, just add a lookup. Then the function arguments window comes in. So this is similar to the VLOOKUP. So while index gives us the name of the person in a position, the match asks you for the name and it will give you the position. So in this case, our lookup value say I want to return the value Christmas. The array where Christmas is being found is here. Are we together up to there? I want you to go look for Christmas. That is what's in A11. You're going to look for it in column AA. Sorry. Let me start that again. I clicked some stuff. I want to go look for the value in A11, that is Christmas. Where am I going to look for it? Look for it in column AA of our current sheet. And then the match type. Now this is similar to the VLOOKUP. Difference is that we have 3 different values. So you can either put true and false. So in this case, false has one value. The false value is 0. The true value is either 1 or -1. That doesn't really matter. The true value is mostly for numbers. If you were to do accounting at some point, so that's when you might use the true value a lot because it's more of the highest lowest value closest to your value, or the smallest highest value closest to your value. That is how the true works, but it's a bit complicated for now. We'll just use the false value. You either type 0 or you just type false. Same thing we were doing with the VLOOKUP. False for exact match, true for approximate match. In this case, we want the exact match. So in most cases, you'll always want the exact match. So just stick to false or 0. If you forget the number, just type in false. And then we click OK. So as index gives us the person in a particular position, match gives us the position of a person. So Crispart is in row number 11. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's what match does. You can also do match with a different sheet. Come to lookup and reference, match. The lookup value, come back to this side. I want to know the vol position of invoice number 38762. Where am I going to find it? You're going to find it in the column A. What is the match type? Exact match. And then you click OK. Excel tells me the invoice number that I was looking for is in position number 21. So if I go to my rows, if I look for row number 21, I'll find my invoice number there. That is what match does. I hope you get the difference. Index gives you the name in a position or the value in that position. Match gives you the position of a value. We clear that? Before I go to the magic part, because
Sorry, say that again.
index gives you the name of or the name or a value in a specific position. Index gives you like the cable ako position 6. Just the same way the index in the high school is. Ukiulizwa who is position 6 ni nani, nani ako index 12 ni nani. So the same thing we have with the indexing, that you can know who exactly is in index 1, index 2, index 3. That is what this does. Who is in that position? Who is in that index? We can do it with columns. We can do it with rows. If you select one column, it will give you the position based on the columns. If you select rows, you'll count the rows, row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, that way. If you select multiple cells, you'll have to give it the row number, and the column number. But if you select just one column, you only give one row. If you select one row, you only give the number of the column. Is it clear? That's for index.
Yeah.
For match, you give it a value and then ask it, what is the position of this value? I have 52 store. What is the position of 52 store in this set of data? I have this representative name. What is his position in this set of data? I have the invoice number. Where can I find it? So that is what we do with the match. But I want to use the index and match together to get you the representative so that you can see how it's done easily. Let us get the representative for each of these customers that are here. So we come to the lookup and reference. We start with the index function. Click index. The first argument, array, row number, column number. So the array, where am I going to look for this first? So this is more of like the lookup array, whatever we are going to look for. It's a range of cells that you are going to look for. So in this case, we want you to give us back you to use the customer. to get the representative. So we select the customer to get the representatives. Sawa sawa. Similar to VLOOKUP, because we already have the customer, we don't have the representatives. So what you select first is what you have. We have the customer, and then in the row number, instead of typing whatever we did, we are going to type the match function. Remember, index gives you the name in a position. The match gives you the position. So the part where we were putting the position is where we put the match function, because this is now a position that you want it to give us back. So once you type match with the opening bracket, come and click anywhere inside the match section, and then it asks you the lookup value. What is the value that is going to look for? What it look for? What look for the rep? Sawa. What look for the rep? Wait a minute. I'm not feeling confident about this. I'm not feeling confident about this. Wait a bit. Wait, this gives the position of a value. Let me just check something again. Yeah, let's do that again. We start with the index. First argument. The array is the customer. Yeah, I found it. I think I can find it now. Then in the row number, that's where we put the match. And then click anywhere in the match. So what we were telling Excel is just find whatever is in the row 1. So in this case, the lookup value will be A2. Then the lookup array is the rep. Then the match type is 0. Wait a minute. Not feeling confident again. There's something I've skipped somewhere. I'm still not sure what it is. There's still something that I've skipped. Yeah, it gives me an A. There's still something I've skipped again. We have the index as the A. So what we do is we start with the index function, the array. So the first thing we need to do is what do we need to bring back? It is slightly different from VLOOKUP, but what do you need Excel to bring back? Where am I going to get it to find whatever I'm bringing back? You're going to find whatever you're bringing back in column F. Are we together? We want it to bring back the representative. We have the customer already, but we want it to bring back the representatives. That's in column F. And then the row number, we type in the match function. We want to match it to the customer. Go to column F, match it to this specific customer. So the customer will be the lookup value. Our lookup value will be A2. And where is it going to find the customer? It's going to find the customer in column H. And the match type is exact. And we click OK. You find a type in your formula to correct it to open invoices, or just one bracket. I don't have a bracket. Accept the correction, yes, and that's it. Let's do it for Alibaba. Come to look up at reference, index, first arguments for formula, The array is whatever we want to bring back. We already have customer we want to bring back, the representative. So the representative is in column F. And then the row number is now when we type in the batch function with one opening bracket. Click anywhere inside the batch section. The lookup value is you want to look up the value Alibaba. Where we're going to find the Alibaba function, you're going to find it in column H of open invoices. The batch type is false, that's exact, so we put 0. Then we click OK. Yes. And that is the representative, no read. If you do VLOOKUP, the same thing will be the answers. VLOOKUP, the lookup value is 52 store. Where we are going to find it, is F to H. I want to do something. This might confuse you. I hope it does not. I hope this does not confuse you, but this is what I do sometimes. It's a makeshift. So the customer it should be the first column. This is column 1. Column H is column 1. If this is column 2, then this is column 1. That means this is column 0, and this is column -1. So most of the time I just put -1. Type in false. Oh, it does say it does not agree to do this today. Oh, I think it works for Google Sheets. I think it just works for Google Sheets, not for Google, for Excel. But I always do. Sometimes I do the -1, so it moves from the right towards the left. So yes, you'll find that you'll have to rearrange your data for the VLOOKUP to work. But for the index and match, you don't really have to rearrange the data. And I wanted to show you something. This is why I was doing this formula again. Is I wanted to show you that in the array, you're selecting multiple columns. Column F to H. If it were in the first column, if customer were here, we could have selected column B to H or column A to H. But for the index and match, we only select the columns that we need. We have no business selecting the date column. We have no business selecting the due date. All these columns are not helping us at all. Or the invoice about column or the balance column, all those invoices, all columns are not helping us at all. So we're only selecting what we need, and that's why we get faster results. Swali, you can always copy it down, and it will still work. Is there any question? Should I do it again?
Yes.
Let me delete everything there. So the index and match, we want to find the representative based on the customer names here. You find both of them are in open invoices. You have the customer column H and you have the representative column F. It doesn't matter where they are. It might be in column F, one in column X or Z. It doesn't matter. It will always work. So we come to select SLE2. That's next to 52 store. Look up at reference index. Take the first flavor. So the array, the value it's supposed to be returning. The value is supposed to be returning is the representative value, and it is in column FF of open invoices. That is the array. That is where we're supposed to be getting our value that is being returned, that is being given back. So the row number, initially we could have put a number 2, 3, 4, 5, 20, any number, so that it can tell us who is in that position. But you find the match function gives you a value, either 2 or 21. So we want to use the match function to give us a number, to give the index function a number, and then the index function will give us the result. So we type in match, we are nesting inside the index function. Then we come to the lookup value. So what are we going to use to know that the representative that we're bringing back is correct? want you to use the customer. Where am I going to find this customer? You want it to match it, the customer that is in column H. Oh, sorry, I didn't select it clearly. Want it to use the customer, that is the value, then you want it to match it to the customer. But where am I going to find the customer? You can either select this column AA here right now, or you can go back to open invoices and select column H. Either way it will work. And the match type, you can either type false or type 0. So then we come to the index, open invoices, the representative column, that's what we want back. And the batch type, you find the batch type is 2. It's already writing for us 2. So it is like us putting the number 2 here as we did before. Then it tells you what's in position 2. So yes, I feel this is okay. Then we click okay, and then you have your answer. If you wanted Alibaba, because Alibaba is a different representative from Fulgence, you still come formulas tab, look up at reference, index. The first flavor is array, row number, and column number. It's the shortest or easy one. We still want the representative. The row number is the match function with the opening bracket. And I click that. Then the lookup value, want it to use the customer name, Alibaba. Lookup array, where we're going to find the customer name. Let's now select this row here, see if that's what it will do. And the match type, what an exact match. Come back to the index function and then click OK.
Can you drag this?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Okay.
But in this case, if you want to drag it, I'd rather you drag it with the formula, the first one, the one where we went back to this other side to get the customer. I would rather you. I don't want you to drag when you use this as the basis. I want you to drag it using the first one. You drag it using where we use the open invoices as the lookup array. It is more accurate. So remember I said you can either use let me just activate this cancel. Let me just activate this formula. You can get the formula window there. So the lookup value is in sheet 2A2, that is 22002. The lookup array, we went back to open invoices and selected column H for customer. Remember I told you that you can also select column AA. So this can work for only one set of data, but if you need to copy the formula down, just go select the master list. Go back to the master list. Don't use the short list. Go back to the master list and select it from there. That's when you copy it down. Yeah, I think that's it. Swali jingine?
The elephant in the room. What do you use this for?
Instead of VLOOKUP.
So, okay. Just for instead.
So what I do when Maggie is getting the data, we have to match these reps to our customer. When we were filling the weekly receivable data, I'll already have a list of customers set. My customers already listed, and then I'll find which of them is mine from from the master list, from the open invoices list, because there's some that I had handed over to Michael, but then I took them out of my list. So I'll only change that. At the same time, if you have a list of customers and the representatives are all over the place, they're not matched to the correct representatives. You can use the index and match or the VLOOKUP to get the correct representative. So the main fact about this is that you must have a master list that has the correct values. There has to be a reference list that has the correct values. And it has both what you want and what you have. So in this case, we have the customer and we want the representative. So our master list must have all these two correctly matched for me to be able to get the data that I need.
And you can't just copy paste.
You can't copy paste, yes. You can copy paste, yes, but most of the time,
Uh,
you'll find you say the apostrophe is not in this position it is right now.
okay.
It might be in position 20, it might be in position 32. So unless you are positive that all my data are all in the same position they are as the master list, then you can just copy paste.
Okay.
But for added security or for addition for accuracy, using the index and match will make sure you don't have any errors. You don't have even have to double check your data, because when you copy paste, you're going to have to double check your data. You have to go through every single one of them to check that actually you pasted it to the correct person. But with this, you don't have to check. Any other question? Tumeielewa leo?
I'm worried with the silence.
I know.
Wow.
Linda, you're back.
Has anyone ever been has anyone ever been in a position where they use the VLOOKUP? I know I have been in several positions. Has anyone been in a position where they have to use the VLOOKUP?
Yeah.
Several positions.
Yeah.
Try replace the VLOOKUP one that you've been using with the index and match, and you'll see how fast the workbook gets. If you have any workbook right now that you're using the VLOOKUP, try change it to index. Utaona itaacha kuwa slow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So instead of VLOOKUP, you use index and match.
Index and match. Yeah, they do the same thing. Index and match is faster. Way faster.
Oh, the way hata sijaifuata 100%, I was just hoping it can't be used in the near
Oh. I was teaching you this so that I can change.
Leo nimeona kijagiza.
I wanted us to change every single VLOOKUP function that we have in all our sets of data to get this.
Index and match.
Yeah. We need to change every single one of them. Even in the dashboard that I was watching, the one that I used, I think I used index and match. If you check keenly.
Which one?
The one that I was setting up, what is it called? The one for the receivables.
Oh.
Yeah, I used index and match.
Shit.
It is what it is.
Do you have another topic unataka kufundisha?
Hapana. Hii ilikuwa tu hii kwa leo.
Do you mind repeating index and match?
I'm deleting this and I'm doing again.
Now.
Yes.
Oh, do you amemaliza?
Tumemaliza by the way, so you're free to leave. We are done. The class is done. You need tuition too. Remedials. For my slow students.
Acha really?
I'm a good teacher. So I know I have to repeat for some. Now, remember what paid you. So in this case, the index gives you the name of someone in the position. You ask the Excel values. Who is index 2? Who is in index 3? Like that. Same way, if you asked in your school, high school or primary school, who is your index 1? You know exactly the name of the person who was in index 1. That's what the index does. Because you're just in a grid. It's like a set of grid. What match does, it will tell you, it's more of asking someone what index is Michael. So in this case, we were using the 52 store customer as the value. Index will ask you, it's more of asking Excel, who is index 2?
Uh-huh.
That is 52 store.
Yeah.
Match does ask you, what is the index of 52 store?
52. Yes.
It will tell you it is index 2.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and then we nest them together. So we come to the lookup and reference. Index is the first one. You have to start with the index so that it can give you a name, and then you match it with a position.
Mm-hmm.
So the index array, what you want to bring back. So in this case, what you want to bring back is the representative, not the customer. You want to bring back the representatives.
Okay.
We go to open invoices.
And
Representative is in open invoices column F. We only select the column that we need. So that is a good thing about indexing, index and patch. You only select what you need. That's the column F. And then the row number. So we could have put, we want row number 2, that is fullness, row number 3, Doreen, all the way down. But instead of just typing a number in the row number, you remember the match will give us a row number. So we just type in match function here with an opening bracket. And then you come back to the match section. Once you click it, the
when
match
you
function
click it
can be.
there, okay.
You click hapo katikati ya match to anywhere inside match. If you kama click index, itarudi kwa ile index.
Okay.
If you kama click anywhere inside match, it will bring you the match function arguments.
Hapo ndio nilikuwa napotea.
You just kama click anywhere in here. So then the lookup value, what am I going to use to find the representative? You're going to use the customer name 52 store here in column A. Where am I going to find this customer? I want to go find this customer in the master list in column H, where the representative also is. So I want them to be matched with this. And the match type has to be exact. Come back to index because that is our function. Match is there. Open invoice is there. Then we click OK. Here's the representative.
What is left is now practice.
Yes.
Sorry, so when can we use this?
Whenever you have sorry,
like real examples that we use like on a daily basis.
on a daily basis. So you see the way sometimes the open invoices values are not really correct. You find the adjective is all mismatched. You can use this to sort that out. If you had a set of data that are supposed to be matched together, like a customer has to have a specific representative, a customer has to be the person with a specific invoice, you can find that. So sometimes you have an invoice number, but looking down the list it's too big. You don't even know whose invoice that is. So let's say we have the invoice number. Let me just copy this invoice number 37743. Let me just place it here. I want to know which customer owns this invoice. I have an invoice number. I don't know the customer. Let's find the customer. So we come to index and match, look up a difference. Index. Take the first one. So the array, what do you want to bring back? You want to bring back the customer. You want to get the customer. The customer is in column H. The row number is the match function. Open the bracket. Come and click somewhere inside match. Just come and click inside match. Once you click inside match, the match function arguments will appear. Then the lookup value, what am I going to use to bring you back the customer? Use this invoice number that we have here. Where am I going to find that invoice number? You're going to find it in column A of the open invoices. Do you want an exact match or an approximate match? I want an exact match, either false or zero. And then we come back to the index. Just click index and then you click OK. So it tells me the person who owns the invoice number 37743 is Dicho Hardware. And if we check 37743 ilikuwa hapa, yes. It is Dicho Hardware.
Who is that even?
That's Virginia's customer.
Oh,
Hata ni 0.38. I think ni tu
yeah.
juu ya discount ndio maana kulipa yote.
Interesting.
Yes.
Maybe I
Just try. Anytime you come across, sometimes you have to look up a value and match it to another value using the VLOOKUP. Change it to index and match. That's when you will see how it works easily.